We are activating your unique self-discovery one show at a time. The Orchard of Wisdom Self-Discovery podcast are at your fingertips, just waiting to inspire and invite you in discovering just how awesome you really are and how to navigate through life in joy, enrichment, personal abundance, in mind, body, spirit, heart, and soul. All the people we bring you are here to serve you on your journey of life. Do enjoy our next show. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Ignite Your Heart and Soul right here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy, and my guest is Deanna, Hann. We're going to be talking about your wonderful, gorgeous, fabulous goddess compass. What does that mean? How did it guide her to heal herself? She says her mission is to spread more happiness in the world, and she discovered her inner compass, which transformed her goddess compass that guided her to heal herself. She takes no medication. However, meditation and her inner journey became her 365-day vacation every day. She became empowered to guide people to discover their power and believe in self-healing journey. She's a teacher with her master's in teaching and learning and graduate in transformational coaching with the founders Tony Robbins and Jayne, Jewell. And her journey is about believing in miracles and in her discovery of them happening. The goddess compass guides her to transform her life, believe in miracles, and co-create them with a daily and fresh start every day. Her mindset is mapped out through her heart that connects her to the earth. She realizes that the world, earth, and the heart have the same letters. This awareness that of what is in her heart guides her to the earth and the whole universe, created her happiness journey. It made her go through life and only look back in gratitude. In this transformation that allowed her to heal and move forward with her compass to lead her away from the darkness of her past and guide her into a brighter light that energized and uplifted her. Her mission to pay it forward and to stop the suffering on the power of intentions, to get everyone to vibrate on that higher level energetically, to create a better, happy world, one where the healed heart at a time, and one actually where the heart is actually the healer. I think people don't realize we want to make this world a better place, but the first person we have to start with is self before we become the ingredient to a better world when we are living a better life. Welcome to the show, Deanna.
It's such a pleasure to be here, Sarah. Thank you so much for inviting me.
My pleasure. Now, just as we had issues today with getting you on because computers decided to do their own thing, we're going to have challenges in life, even though one steps up to a higher frequency and a higher vibration. That doesn't mean challenges aren't going to happen. It just means that we can meet and greet them in a different energy and a different light and not get so daunted by them.
It's so true. We never know what our day is going to unfold. We
Mhm.
really don't. We can prepare for it. We can even make a cake sometimes, and it doesn't turn out exactly the way we thought it would be.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's not. Life is kind of like that. But what we put out there usually mirrors back to what we get. And
Mhm.
it all starts inside of us with our heart. It's the heart of the matter, really.
Yes, most certainly. And putting our heart into something. And even if something doesn't come out great, I remember making a chocolate cake and it came out all crumbled. And I was having a dinner party. So I put the chocolate cake in a mold and I put cherries and brandy and a few other things in it. And then later on turned it up and then put cream whipped in the inside. And it actually turned out absolutely fabulous. So, sometimes those mistakes aren't, the end all. It's just like, well, try something new, or maybe it's a redirect.
Exactly. A lot of times we get those redirects, and
Mhm.
they usually work out even better. Most of the time they do.
Because that's the universe nudging and prodding us, isn't it?
It
Please listen to
is.
your heart and soul. Where you're going, may you have a good enthusiasm, but really we just want you to shift to the right a little bit, because this is where you're meant to go. And it's only when we come from the heart and the soul that we truly actually learn to listen.
We really do. And I also say it grows our heart. It
Mm,
expands our heart. And
mm.
sometimes when the lessons are tough ones, it even expands our heart more.
Yeah. I do a lot of business shows, and what I'm lovely, really seeing the trend now, which is really warms my heart, is that people are understanding in business it's about raising the higher consciousness, coming from the heart, uh, being a person that somebody wants to know. Not just do business, but wants to know. Because if we buy who you are, then we're going to buy from you. And I think people are beginning to realize that we need other people's hearts, don't we, in order to connect.
We certainly do. The connection is so important,
Mm,
and that's what you want, to be able to connect to someone on a personal level, even though it's business,
mm.
because when they merge together, everybody feels more productive.
Yes, and it feels more authentic and truthful because, we are in a world where there's so much fake.
Absolutely.
We really want
Mhm.
to know those connections are real. And when we can feel someone's heart in it, that really is the invitation, isn't to connection and
Well, we're on the same
relationships.
team. We're
Yes,
on the same team
yes,
when we
in the
can feel
same
with the
vibe.
heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same vibe.
The same
Mhm.
wavelength and everything else. And then when we put those hearts together in enthusiasm, my goodness, the creativity that can come out of it.
Absolutely. It's incredible. That's where the best poems and the best stories are written, and the best songs is
Mm,
right from the heart.
yeah,
That's how come we need to live with our heart,
yeah.
because it will give us our best life and the best story.
And, a lot of people go, but, my heart has been broken and it's painful. Well,
Mm.
that pain is there for a reason, partly to heal the pain, the pain that really cripples you. But the memory of what has happened is always a propelling, propulsion forward. But it's also the appreciation of when there's
It
true
is.
love there.
It's so true. I agree with you. And I also, another thing to add to that is when our hearts ache and break,
Mm,
it puts cracks in our heart. And that's how
mhm.
the light gets an
Yeah,
opportunity to go in even deeper, to bring the light out more
yeah.
once we heal it. Because a healed heart is an open heart.
Hmm.
So
It's
we
also,
kind of have to do our own inner surgery
oh
on our.
gosh, don't we?
We do.
Yeah.
I said that in a writing there a few days ago. And it's like we need to do our own inner surgery on our heart to be able to survive some things that are challenging us.
Hmm.
And we know what we need,
Yeah.
you know?
It's,
Mhm.
that compassion and understanding, we have to give that to ourselves. We have to be willing to
Mm.
open up that heart and you see, go in and do that surgery, fill ourselves with love, with healing love, because those will fill the cracks up, right?
Exactly. So we don't feel depleted
Mm,
anymore. And then there's less chance of us getting depleted, right? So
yeah.
fill up the cup,
Mm.
fill it over with love, and then you
Yes,
got more to pour out.
absolutely. I love the cup runneth over, because
I love that too.
there's never ever a state where you can love too much. A lot of people, I love too much, and I've said it myself. I just simply love too much, and it's like I felt, am I meant to restrain? Am I meant to hold myself back? And it's like, but that is to deny myself, the
Mhm.
the love that I feel, and I think we became afraid of love. I don't know, it's because we distrusted it, or, was it real, or we didn't know what to do with it? What do you think?
Well, I think the opposite of fear is love.
Mm,
And I've done some work on the Course in Miracles for a few
mhm.
years, and we've got our ego,
Yeah.
and fear is on that same spectrum. And
Hmm.
then you've got love, which is the fearless.
Hmm.
So when we're able to park our egos and not be, fearful and say that we're not enough, and
Hmm.
therefore, you don't feel depleted or deficient. You don't have to attack anybody if
Yeah.
someone challenges who you are, because you know you are enough.
Yes.
You're able to handle situations better, and being able to have compassion for other people. Plus, you can balance that compassion with your own self-compassion, because if someone don't feel they're enough,
Hmm.
they're more likely to challenge you, and
Yeah.
especially if they have fear instead of love in their heart, So I feel the opposite of
Mm.
love is fear. So if you can pour more love out onto someone that is actually scared, then you can interact with them on a different level with compassion.
Hmm. People fear, am I lovable?
Yeah,
Can somebody love me? And that sad, very sad state of being comes from, I think, a great deal of society's expectation of what we should be and what love really is. And love doesn't have a condition, it just has an honesty, right?
exactly. It's
It's not
unconditioned.
unconditional. It's not a question of what you look like, how rich you are, what your
Mhm.
status is, how many followers you have. That is not love, right?
No,
And
definitely not.
when we can let go of that and understand that love is something you exude out, and sometimes you have no idea who it touches, and it doesn't matter if you don't get a
It
like and you don't
doesn't
get a
matter.
response,
I know.
you're generating it, and somebody out there is feeling it, and that's enough.
Absolutely. I agree. It's such a gift.
Oh, it is.
But it's a gift exchange. The more love
Yes.
you put out, the more love you get back, the higher
Mm-hmm.
the vibration, the
Mm-hmm.
better the energy. And when you do things out of love, things are not a chore, they're not a
Yeah.
task, they're more meaningful. And they put you in motion with with the emotion of love.
Yeah.
It's like it all lines up with that
Mm,
connection for me. And I
mm.
realize that.
It's the
And that's what
energy. Love is
it's
such a beautiful high frequency energy.
it
And
is.
and it's that open consciousness. I said that there were so many people in angst today and lost today and depression today. I think a lot of it is our consciousness is waking up. We're rising up to that higher plane, but we're also realizing how much we're hurting each other. And in
It's
that
so true.
hurting of each other, we realize how much it hurts us. For love, you can't knowingly hurt anyone else, for it hurts you if you do so.
Exactly. It's like the daggers come back and
Mm,
stab you
yeah,
right in the heart. If you hurt someone, it causes pain
yeah,
to yourself.
yes,
And you also, again, situations where I know I felt like I wasn't enough in the past or I was
yes,
angry, it's like that hurt, created that negative energy
yeah,
and you just repelled each other and you got further and further away. But really, what you wanted to do is bring them closer
mm,
and heal the hurt. And that's how you heal it with love. Love is such a healer for both of us when
mm.
we can connect it together.
But we become so defensive. That fear, I think, of rejection, is a big one. Will they
I
really love me? Do they
know.
honestly love me? And it's like, if you really want to honestly and truly be loved, show them how to love you by loving yourself.
That's exactly the way it works. That's the law of the
Yeah.
universe. Love is the law.
Hmm.
And that's the navigational part of the goddess compass, too.
Yeah.
Love is what navigates us. The
Yes.
self love, and then you got enough love to be able to pour it out. You don't have to worry about, using your ego as the
Mm.
armor,
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah,
let it go, return to love, let go of the fear, and just embrace it all, you know.
exactly. I like that you use the word, compass, because I refer to it a great deal. Like, you can talk about love being a generator. It generates the energy. It is the guidance and the compass from which our consciousness grows, and where we step into compassion and caring and understanding, and the kindness that we all need to show one another, but first and foremost need to show to ourselves. But we're looking on the outside for these things, but that compass is right inside, just waiting. Hey, 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 I'm here. Will you switch me on, please?
Exactly. It's the co-creator
Yes,
when you connect your compass to the universe
yes.
and to yourself. Like the alignment is it's your heart and it's
Mm,
the earth together.
yeah,
You got it all,
yes,
you know,
yes. And
and it
some
feels
people want to
great.
call it, God, or energy or spirit or
Divine or
design.
source.
It doesn't matter what you want to label it. That the point is, when the heart is ignited, and it's guiding that compass and it's generating that energy for you, you will always, when you are present in your essence, be guided as to where you need to be. That
Yes,
clarity will be there.
totally, totally. Mhm.
But we've got to be willing to do the work. And
Exactly, to keep the rhythm going, right? Keep
yes,
the rhythm of the heart connecting to the earth.
but I think for a lot of people who are kind of rather jaded right now or in pain because that consciousness is waking up and they're feeling the earth's pain, and they just, oh, but it hurts, it hurts. How do I get to that space of love when it hurts so much? So what would you suggest that people do in that healing of the pain, understanding of the pain, how to rise above the pain by going through it?
Okay. Well, pain is real.
Mm,
As human beings, we feel pain. But when we realize the pain is lowering our vibration, and for me, it was making me sicker and sicker
yeah,
10 years ago. I am a cancer graduate, cancer warrior. So I changed my story. I'm not a
excellent.
victim.
Right.
I was violated at a young age.
Hmm. Which probably brought the cancer
My
on. Yes.
body,
Hmm.
so my intimacy,
Yeah.
interactions were a fear.
Hmm.
But now I've learned, how to protect myself.
Hmm.
So no one will ever hurt me like that again.
Exactly.
And it's not because I have this shield up, this
Right.
big deal, but I have enough love for myself and enough compassion for myself that I'm able to balance it
Yeah.
into a relationship, whether that's with a friend or
Hmm.
a family member. No one will ever violate my soul anymore
Right.
to hurt me because I know how to protect myself. And when I feel like someone is attacking me, like we said, we don't want the daggers to come
No.
back at us. So I have compassion. I look at
Hmm.
why do they need to attack me? What
Hmm.
are those feelings?
Hmm.
And how can I can grow love so we can heal and connect together? So as far as the hurt goes, I transform it and I navigate it with my compass to how can I change the situation so that I can have compassion and be able to connect to that someone so they don't need to hurt me
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
And it's transformational.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's just being realized that I don't want to hurt. And I always say in my coaching, Sarah, and everybody that's listening, I'm tired of suffering. It's a lower
Yeah.
vibration.
Yes.
So I can be the generator of compassion and love and let go of fear and park my ego. And I want to be at the higher vibration. Like you said, it's the
Mm.
highest vibration love.
Yes.
So
Yes, it
let's
is.
raise everybody up and
Mm.
not feel like you're left out and secluded. How
Yes.
can we stop the hurt?
Surrender to it for a start. Understand where
Surrender.
that pain comes from. See it and hug it.
Yeah,
Hug that pain, hug whatever happened to you and go, all
you
right,
gotta feel it.
it happened to you, but for you, it made you a stronger, more courageous person, right?
A
Don't
warrior.
worry it. Don't continue to be the victim because if you are, that's your choice.
Exactly. You got to change the
Mm.
story. You
Change the
really
narrative.
do have to change the narrative.
Yeah.
And you're the
Yes.
narrator of your
Yes.
own
Yeah.
life, your own story.
Yeah.
So look at what you've learned. And I'll go back to yesterday's not on the calendar, and neither are you.
Hmm.
So, what you've learned from that experience now, you can use it to protect yourself
Yes.
and build a better life. So you're the co-creator now of a new story
Right.
going forward. And then you want to pay it forward
Yes.
to
Oh,
others.
you
They don't want
you
to
have
suffer.
to pay it for because you're
You
full and you've got to
do.
exude it out, right? So it's got to
You
get out there.
do.
But
That's
when
what
people
it's
say,
all
"Well, how
about.
are you protecting yourself?" and what they don't realize is when you're in that higher love vibration, you are on a frequency that, quite honestly, kind of evil can't touch. Right. So you are going to be reachable by the people that have come up to a certain love vibration. Right? You can put a
Exactly.
hand out to lift them up, but you can't go down into the depths of where they're at to heal them there or to heal yourself. What it is you let that go. And if somebody wants to interact with you or wants to be a part of your life, they need to match your frequency. And then you know you're safe because they're in that love vibration.
Exactly. And that's the way it works. That's the
Mm.
law of the
Yeah.
universe.
Yeah.
It protects you that way,
Yeah. I always
protects
think
your
that,
energy.
yes, then that energy needs to be protected, otherwise it can be zapped, right? And
Ooh,
you know when you're
yes.
around people where you go, they're a piranha just sucking the energy out of me.
Yeah.
You know,
Vampires.
with vampire, just remove yourself from the situation and, put up
Yes.
the little balloon around them, but um, do not let your energy be sucked out of you. I always think that sometimes we get a pause in life and it's like, okay, well, I was on such a good roll and everything was going right, and then something kind of stopped, or, the direction I was going in, suddenly became to a dead end. What do I do now? Is it wrong? Instead of going into that dialogue, I think that's a good time to be present with yourself and learn to listen, allow. And one of the things is, yes, look back. You kind of feel, oh, I'm back there again. No, you're not. Look back to how far you have come. Look back to where you were and the pain and the suffering and how far you are now. This pause might be just a time of reflection, but it also might be a time of redirection
And gratitude for
and
what you've
gratitude.
overcome.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
that's a high frequency too, right?
exactly. Yeah. If you wake up every day with a grateful of, I opened my eyes today,
Yeah.
because many
I felt
don't.
my heart.
Yes, yes. And we get low days, that's okay. And that's the day
Mhm.
you know that you need to put that loving on yourself, right? You need to
Sure.
nurture yourself because you get those days and it's like, I haven't got too much to share today, so I need to pour it into myself so I can regenerate, right?
Exactly. And that love is a miracle in
Yeah,
that way
yeah.
too, because you can regenerate.
Hmm.
And that's a big part of the goddess compass as well,
Mm,
you know, being able to love yourself. Because when I went to the Amazon jungle, I truly had to learn how to love myself
hmm.
because I felt like my life fell apart with all those things.
Yes.
And I had to change the story. And one was to fill myself with love, so much love, and
Nature
to
always has the
forgive
answers.
people and to
Oh,
forgive
yes.
myself.
Yes. Oh, and the
You-
forgiveness of self, I think, is probably one of the hardest. Forgiving others is easier than forgiving yourself, isn't it?
It's true, isn't
Yeah.
it? It
Because it's
is.
always, well, why was I so stupid? Why was I so, vulnerable? Why
I
didn't I see that?
know.
You saw what you saw in the state of mind you were in at the time. You're no longer there.
Exactly. So you have to be that soul
Mm.
without shame, I
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
and that raises your vibration as
Yes.
well.
Now going
Forgiveness
to,
is truly a gift.
oh, it is, and necessary because you can't heal without that self-forgiveness. And
Hmm.
and then the forgive, because whoever has hurt you, the onus is on them for what they did to you. But you
Hmm.
can thank them for the lesson you have learned because it's part of your journey
Absolutely.
of your own growth. However, whatever it was, it's everybody has to be accountable for what they've done in life, right?
Hmm.
And maybe we're asking for forgiveness for things that we did unknowingly to hurt other people or knowingly. But,
Hmm.
so the accountability is there. But without that forgiveness, you're a prisoner.
It's so true. You have to take those shackles off and
Mm,
no longer be a prisoner.
right.
Absolutely. So you have the key to the cuffs to be
Yeah,
able to let go and no longer be a prisoner to that pain and instead stand up and be the warrior of where you've been. You've
right.
done your sentencing,
Yeah,
right? You've
exactly.
done it. You suffered enough.
Yeah, what are you
It's
still
time to break
persecuting
free.
yourself for, right?
Break
Come
free.
on.
Break free. I love it.
Yeah. Now, the Amazon, I can imagine, I lived in South Africa for a long time, and there's some
Wow.
just beautiful vibration there. The African beat,
Mm,
and just I lived in the Cape for a long time, exquisitely beautiful, and the oceans and the
beautiful.
Atlantic and everything there. Um, there's certain places that call to you. Some people India, some people here or there, but the Amazon. I mean, when you're talking about, they say that in the Amazon, there's a cure a few feet away for every disease, except for the
Yeah, that's
Brazilian
so
president that's
true.
trying to destroy the Amazon, which hopefully they're going to turn that around now. But what was it about the Amazon that drew you? Why there?
Well, I was married at the time, and my husband actually saw me slipping away because the dark part of my life is I did walk with a cane after an accident.
Hmm.
I went over an embankment, the car was demolished. I lost
Wow.
my father in that period of time,
Hmm.
and I also lost my business. It was
Hmm.
just falling apart, everything.
Yeah.
So
The
my husband
redirect.
gifted it to me. Yeah, I need some redirection. So he saw a documentary and he gifted it to me for my
Oh,
birthday.
wonderful. Wonderful.
And I went there and it was the best decision I ever made. But we're not together, we're still friends. But I
Hmm.
realized I was growing in a different way and
Yeah.
I needed to work on myself. And this sounds horrible to say, but I didn't feel like I was worth loving at the time.
Right.
Now I know I'm worth
Yeah.
loving.
Yeah.
But it was at that time I had a lot of shame and I needed to work through it. And I needed just to really take a deep inner journey. And that's how I found my goddess
Mm.
compass.
Yeah.
I was even told I was a goddess in the Amazon jungle, and I didn't even believe it.
Hmm.
It took me a few years before a very serendipity type thing happened in New York City. I got up on stage to tell a little bit of my story. And before I got to tell my story, the facilitator said, "What's your name?" And I said, "Dina." I know you call me Deanna, but that's okay. I get it all the time. And she said, "No, your sister goddess, Dina." And I went, "Bingo! Wow, that's the universe speaking to me."
Yeah.
And I finally believed it
Mm.
amongst 1,500 women. And that's when the transformation
Hmm.
really started to click in. The plant medicine, the messages I got from the Amazon jungle. I became a co-creator of my universe. I became the warrior. There was no victim anymore.
Mm.
And it was just like, throw it all under the
Yeah.
rug and let's roll out the carpet
Yes.
for a better life. And the compass led my way,
Right.
navigated
And when you
with
tune
courage
into
and
that
confidence.
compass, that and trust that you've done the work, that the compass is going to lead you in the right way. It just is quite astounding, the clarity you get from it, the redirections and the journeys, that self-discovery of, I didn't know I could do this, or I didn't know I was meant to do this, or I didn't know I was this strong or this courageous or had these abilities. It's really a wonderful permissional time,
Isn't it?
to step into self.
Tears of joy as you were
Mm,
speaking of that. I thought,
mm,
oh my goodness, what I've overcome and what I've transformed into my life so
mm.
that I no longer suffer. I took so many pills. Here's a glass. Half of this glass was full of a jelly bean of pills for the pain, the
Yeah.
depression, and for everything I was going through, the dis-ease in my
Yes.
body, which I'll call disease.
Yes.
Um, I take no prescription medicine
Mm.
whatsoever.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm so grateful that I was
Right.
able to elevate my vibration
Yeah.
and release all that pain. Because another thing for the viewers are watching, when you're tensed
Mm.
and you're stressed,
Yes.
everything seizes up and you
Yes.
have pain. You can
Yes.
have a heartache.
Mm.
You can have circulation problems. It can seriously age you. And
Yes.
that means you'll bend over and
Mm.
you'll lower your vibration. It will be negative energy and you will not have a strong immune system. I've not had a flu in 10 years.
Mm.
And I've had sinus infections, and I think that was the release of
Yes.
toxins in my body as well. Some of from the plant medicine, some things. I'm not always a clean diet. I'm a chocolate fanatic,
Yeah. Well,
but
good
all
dark
of
chocolate is perfectly good for you, love.
oh, it
And
is
yeah,
antioxidants plus,
exactly.
right? But sometimes we do need to release things, and I think that's the sinus thing. But no, I have not had a flu in 10 years, and I thank the universe and God for that one.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is the thing. I do an awful lot of energetic shows, and one of the problems is that we are bombarded by all the electricals that are around us, and
Oh, that too.
that's changing kind of our frequency in there, and our body is
Mhm.
desperately trying to get back into an equilibrium, into an energy that can regenerate itself with a balance, and our mindset, heart set, soul set, and spirit set can help it
Ah, I
quite
love that.
considerably because it is about finding that balance. And of course, good healthy living or nutritionals, whatever it is that you do that helps your well-beingness, right?
Exactly.
Then that
Yeah,
can help keep that
well-being.
equilibrium there, because then that means that you're not going to get the peaks, the highs and the lows. We don't want the authorias because we know with an authority comes a crash. We just want
It's
to
so
kind of
true.
keep those things beautifully balanced. And that flow, that constant rhythm and flow is where the nectar really is.
It really is the nectar. It's the
Mm.
juice of the goddess.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. No, you woke up to realizing that you were the goddess, and even each one of us has a kind of an inner identity. For me, I'm a cosmic being. I came here many, many eons ago to
I
ignite
love
heart
it.
and souls. Um,
Mm.
it's always been rather difficult for me to be an earthling because of earthlings being so cruel to one another. And, I'm about the love, I'm about the soul connection, I'm about the spirit freedom and the mind needing to know what it needs to know when it needs to know it. And
Ah,
and I feel we're in an era right now where that frequency and that vibration is rising and rising and rising, and that permission to step into this glorious vibration is finally there. And it's not against us anymore, it's propelling us forward.
totally. 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 100%. I can see and feel your aura. I really can. Oh, yeah. But we're so much more than our human form,
We
right?
are.
That's
This is
another
just the
thing.
vessel. This is
It's
just the
just
vessel having the human
it's just a
experience, right?
vessel.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So much more.
yeah. And
Radiance.
I think, one of the part of the problems of humans is the not being the being. They're being humanoids where they're living just from the mind and robotically through the body, and they're too attached to the flesh. But when you're in the spirit and in the soul and in the heart of the essence of beingness of what you are, it balances out the human flesh, and that's where the human flesh doesn't have to carry so much burden.
Absolutely. We feel lesser and
Yeah,
lesser of a burden, right?
yes,
Less, we're weightless when we look at the other part of ourselves,
right.
not just the human vessel.
Yeah.
It doesn't weigh us down. It's like
Mm.
we can fly and we feel lighter,
Yeah.
in more ways. When I mean
Yes.
we're filled with light, the
Yes.
actual beautiful love and light, and we also are less of a burden. So
Yes.
one thing
To
I
ourselves.
noticed in the Amazon, yeah, but one thing in the Amazon jungle I noticed, because the natives brought our our belongings into us, and we just had to walk into the forest. But walking out after I did the plant medicine and did the journey with the 6 shamans, I could carry my stuff
Yeah.
more, and my shoulders were not weighted down, and I
Yeah.
didn't have the pain anymore. It was just I was lifted. I was lighter. It was just
Mm.
like you go to the gym, you lift weights,
Yes.
and then you let them go. It was
Yeah.
like I let go of all of these weights, and I went, oh, I don't have to carry this anymore. I don't have to
Yeah.
carry this baggage. I don't have to carry all this garbage that I've been
Ah,
carrying
yeah.
around for years and years. It's gone. I'm lighter. It's
Yeah.
less of a burden, and I am the light. And so are you,
Precisely.
for the viewers who are watching when you do that.
We are. And for a long time, I was trapped in my darkness just because of what I was going on in my life. And
Mhm.
it was kind of too painful for me to live in that. My spirit was low, and I was in that darkness, and I could see that light. And it took about 8 years to come back out in it. And when I did, at first it was rather blinding. Then you're feeling the shadows chasing you, and
Ah, yeah, the
now I
shadows.
I love the darkness. I love the peace and the silence of the darkness, for I am the light in the
In the
darkness. Yeah.
darkness. Exactly. And when you realize that, that's so empowering, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so empowering. It's like you can really park that fear.
Hmm.
You park that fear because we've been through a lot and we
Mm.
know what that darkness is like, but now we've found our way out of it. And it's just like, it doesn't scare us anymore.
No, because it's not a painful darkness anymore. It's actually, I love going into that darkness because there I haven't got the strobe lights going on. I can
Yes.
actually see things more clearly in, that,
Navigate.
yeah, and the reveal of what the darkness wants to
Mhm.
show me. And it is a very peaceful place. I love traveling up into the universe and just being a part of that beautiful divine energy. And I come back down with a download of what I need to know, but
Exactly, the
I don't have
download,
to
right?
think it. I don't have to think it. I don't have to analyze it. I don't have to understand it. I just have to be willing to open up those beautiful channels and let them download.
Beautiful. That's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
It's so transformational too, in
Mm.
such a positive way.
Yes.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
you've got to shut out the external world to be able
Yes.
to do that too and channel it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The
And that doesn't
cosmic
mean,
energy.
shut everything off, because we are still human beings having this experience, and it isn't kind of
Absolutely.
abstaining from life. It's just
Uh-huh.
choosing life in a different light. The people that you're around, what's really important in life? What's really your purpose in life? And simplifying your life in a way of I will give my energy to things that can create joy and love, and I won't feed my energy to things that I can do nothing
Mhm.
about.
That's so true. It is, as you say that, I think about my mission in life is
Hmm.
to love, and I
Hmm.
don't want to miss my mission by
Exactly.
going in the wrong direction,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I think that's, I do an analogy all the time of that we're here to discover what our beautiful instrument is, learn how to play it. Then we look for that orchestra that we can play it in. And that orchestra is
Beautiful.
only as strong as the individual instrumentalists who then come together to play in harmony.
Get the rhythm right. Get
Get
some
the
sun.
rhythm right, because each individual
Mhm.
artist can stand alone. But God, when you put them together,
Oh,
woo,
what an
hallelujah.
orchestra.
Exactly. Hallelujah. And that's the point, isn't it? It's not
It
about
is.
being part of the collective and just sucking the life out of everybody else. It's about
No,
being one of the contributors to the collectives where we're sharing the nectar.
it is. It's the ripple effect
Yeah.
too, right? It really is the ripple effect. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what
Choice. Sorry?
I'm sorry, Sarah, but that is where we're a little.
Now, due to the fact that we had all this wonderful technology issues beforehand, because retrograde decided to leave its trail there,
Hmm.
we are going to have to cut this show shorter today. So, will you tell people how they can find you, what kind of programs you have for them, and how they can find their own inner goddess?
Hi, goddesscompass.com is my website. Because you've watched my show, contact me on my calendar. I will give you 45 minutes of my beautiful love. I'll love onto you, and then you can decide if you would like to go further and activate your goddess compass through me, because I have helped so many women and men do this. So go to goddesscompass.com. I don't have a link put in here with you, Sarah,
It's
to
okay.
for the
I put the
bonus, but
link in,
just mention the show
right?
in the calendar, and I will be in touch so we can continue this journey together. And thank you so much for tuning in
And
with
also
lots of
to
love and
read,
light.
to come and get your books. There's the Daily Journal, which is the 365 days of changing reflection and to empower you and uplift you every day. And there's also the Golden Compass book, the Transformation
The
Coach.
goddess compass.
The God, sorry, the God, sorry, yes, the
It's okay.
Goddess
It is a
Compass.
golden compass,
Yeah,
though.
right, it is, right. I've got that book on my mind.
You will hit gold.
Exactly. Become the gold. Yes. So both of those books could be found on Amazon, and they go by your full name. So Deanna, J Hann,
Yes.
Hann. So they can find it there. Of course, they can find it too by just putting your name in on selfdiscoverymedia.com, and everything comes up. And on Facebook, you are the Goddess Compass. I got to get that golden
Goddess
out of my head.
Compass and Night Shift 2022,
All right.
because I did expand my business to work with men in the last few years.
All
So
right.
that's becoming knights. And I love what I do working with men as well. So it's
Wonderful. And
goddesses.
And in LinkedIn, you're, Deanna Hann, so people can get hold of you there. So
Yes.
it's, maybe you want to start off with the books and read all about it, or maybe you want to reach out and have that wonderful 45 minutes of love and set you in the right direction. But the whole point is, folks, is listen, learn, and apply. Please apply
Mhm.
what you've heard here today and reach out to her, and let's see how she can open up your heart and set you into the right direction. So thank you so much, love, for being here. And I know it was a shorter show than I normally do, but it was still full of absolutely wonderful wisdom. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Just to clarify, you need to put in Sarah's show to get the 45 minutes, or you will only be scheduled in for 15 minutes.
Right. So the Sarah Show,
Okay.
just simply put in Sarah Troy, SARATROY, or Self-Discovery Media, either one
Perfect.
of those, and she'll know where it comes from. Okay, folks? And what a gift, 45 minutes of love. And I'm sure every single one of us needs a good 45 minutes of focused love.
Absolutely.
Right? Let's boost your generator and get your compass
There
going.
you
So
go.
until next time, folks, don't forget to love. It's the only way to live. Bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Find all of our shows on selfdiscoverymedia.com under podcasts or self-discovery-media/shows. And for all our current shows, go to What's New. We are supported by you, the audience. You'll see a nice big shiny blue button for one-time donations, or follow us on Patreon and you will be able to support us there. We enjoy bringing you such wisdom. And the next show will be up in just a moment.